we could say, on the final part of this, the restrictions for Motzei Tisha BAV. We hope, obviously, there'll be the rebuilding of the Bet Mikdash, and we'll see Moshiach coming beforehand. But unfortunately, if that's not going to happen, we should be prepared. What should we do on Motzei Tisha BAV? I found an excellent article on the yeshiva.co website. I think it's from a rabbi called Rabbi Daniel Mann. I think this was done about 9 years ago from time of recording. I'll just explore about after Tisha BAV tonight. What do we do once the fast comes out? And because we know that really there's a lot of restrictions until 1:30 tomorrow afternoon on the 10th of Av on many of the different issues. So let's explore it in general. I think he actually brings about Masechet Ta'anit, page 30, Lamed. He said, which is relates over the restriction of the 9 days, end with the completion of Tisha BAV, the 9th of Av. However, it's not obvious, as a majority of the burning of the Bet Mikdash, the temple, was on the 10th of Av. So one could say, no, it comes into 10th of Av. And Rabbi Yochanan, I think from page 29, Aleph, that's Chaf Tet, Amud Aleph, said that he would have thought that the latter date is a more appropriate day for the fast. And he goes on to say that there were Amoraim who fasted both days. Wow, so that's bringing from Yishalmi Tanit. Okay. Based on this specific background, the post-Gemara Minhagim developed to forbidden certain matters after Tisha BAV, respectively. He brings down over here in this article the Torah in Orach Chaim in 558, where it writes, I'll quote, "It is a proper minhag to not eat meat on the night of the 10th and the day of the 10th, just to relieve the spirit so that it should be close to a fast." And then another great rabbi, the Bach, understands this language as a double stringency. One should not eat any meat on the 10th, even regarding other foods. One should limit his eating as is befitting for a day that on some level should have been a fast. And then he brings the second stringency over here is not accepted, as we eat non-meat foods normally after Tisha BAV. Although we can relate to Miklei Kodesh, I think he brings a Harari of the fast, discomfort with those who, for example, go out for ice cream every Motzei Tisha BAV over here. Okay, now he brings the Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chaim over here in 558, number 1. He cites a custom to not eat meat or drink wine the whole night and day of the 10th of Av. That's what's brought about here. Various Achronim limit the stringency somewhat, so they will take a more lenient stance over here. Now he brings the Biur Halacha and says that it is allowed to eat a food that was cooked with meat, as long as one does not eat the meat itself. So if you've got a tavshila food that was cooked with meat, let's say rice, but you're not having the meat itself, then you could have that. Obviously, you have the taste of meat inside it, but you won't be eating the meat itself over here. Then he brings the Magen Avraham from 558, number 1. He says that it is permitted to eat meat at a Sudat mitzvah. And now let's talk about a Sudat mitzvah. It could be there's Brit Milah or Pidyon Ben. It's going to fall on this night. Or someone's going to do a Siyum. Should they do it or not? The Siyum or not is another question altogether. But in those cases, it will be allowed according to that opinion. Now he brings in the Ramah, Rabbi Moshe Israelis. He actually is going to set out what Ashkenazi minhag should be in limiting the minhag against meat and wine until midday of the 10th of Av. So when it becomes midday, at that stage in time, then the Ramah will say that one could, at that stage, have meat and wine. Okay, regarding now, let's talk about other restrictions over here. He brings it back excellently. He actually brings in sources for the Ashkenazim and for the Sfardim also. He says Ashkenazim are stricter than Sfardim. He brings out in this article over here. The Shulchan Aruch mentions only meat and wine, and the Ramah does not argue. However, the Maharshal, I think in the Shut, the 92nd one, writes that since the minhag is to extend the 9 days restriction of wine and meat into the 10th, the same should be true of laundering, haircutting, and bathing. The Mishnah Berurah in 558, number 3, and the broad consensus of Ashkenazi poskim except the Maharshal over here. So seemingly those restrictions will apply. However, regarding Sephardim, he's bringing here, he quotes the Chidah, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azili, the great rabbi, Moroccan rabbi, who we've spoken about before on this channel. We dedicated a few videos within regards to him. And he brings the Chidah and other great poskim from the Edut Mizrach background that also accept this stringency. However, this part of the minhag was apparently not widely accepted by everyone. And Chacham Ovadia Yosef, I think he brings down, he says, writes over in Yechevei Dat in 41, says that Sfardim should follow the Shulchan Aruch opinion that only meat and wine are forbidden, whereas the rest of the restrictions cease right after Tisha B'Av. And he actually puts in brackets, the recitation of Shechayanu is questionable. And he actually quotes to see the Torah HaMa'odim fasts in 11 Amikrei Kodesh. And he actually, which cites, I think, Rabbi Mordechai Eliyahu, one of the former chief rabbis of Israel, as extending the restriction on music throughout the tent. So some other things might be continued. There is room for leniency in case of needed regarding laundry, haircutting, and bathing, even for Ashkenazim, he brings about, for a few reasons. So if someone is in press situation for other reasons, you will be able to be lenient. First, this part of the minhag is not just a post-Gemara Talmudic, but even post-Shulchan Aruch over here. Secondly, it is much more common for there to be difficulty in continuing these restrictions, especially because of the hot summer takes, because it's going to cause more laundry, let's just say, on stacks of laundry pile. Everyone is agreeing, he says, that one can do any of these things in honor of Shabbat when Tisha B'Av falls on a Thursday. So if Tisha B'Av is falling on a Thursday, now all of a sudden some of the restrictions will be relaxed because there's a press of time, and obviously one's going to need clothes for Shabbat, so on and so forth. He brings this, I think, in Mishnah Berurah in 558 number 3, and also Halichot Shlomo. I think he brings Halichot Shlomo in 1516 that says that one can start washing on Thursday night and throw into a load of things needed for Shabbat, even things that are not needed for Shabbat over here. So you can take advantage, seemingly. But that hair cutting should wait for Friday in of itself. There are other situations, such as people leaving home soon after Tisha B'Av who need a supply of laundry, where stringency is likely beyond the call of duty, he brings about over here. He says that when Tisha B'Av is pushed off from Shabbat to Sunday, so naturally the Motzei Tisha BAV is actually going to be the 11th B'Av, which I think has happened several times in the last dozen years. And there is only a restriction on meat and wine, and only at night over here. This is what the Rama brings down. So then one can even be lenient on meat and wine on the next day following over here. So these are some, I thought this was an excellent article. So it was an opportune time to talk about this, because let's hope we're going to see the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash, and it's all going to be theoretical. But wishing you all fast, because at the moment we're in the middle of the fast here in Israel, safety in Israel, and watch over all the previous videos. Don't forget to share the videos, like the videos, and subscribe to the channel also. Wishing you all a good day.